Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Tuesday night. Lovely to see everybody. Hope everyone is having a good evening so far. We are going to try and do a little more of a normalized show. Obviously, Titans are trying to navigate this season. Damar Hamlin on everybody's minds. In the meantime, we are going to do as close to the show is last night as we prepared or that we had planned to do. And at this point, it's a tough situation. The medical information has not necessarily been updated as of yet, but certainly we're going to try at this point to have an engaged and informed discussion. Before we get into tonight's broadcast, we need you guys to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Facebook Live, you can share now to public like Danny Whitson or Karen O'Keefe. If you are on YouTube like Gary Two Times or B French, who tells me Dallas A to Z is always on time, well, guess what? Then if they were starting on time at the same time as we were starting, then you wouldn't be able to watch both shows. Tough scene, B French. Either way, we're happy to have you on the primetime show, Dallas or otherwise. With that being said, we're going to try and do a normal show. I didn't talk about the Titans, obviously, for 3 hours on radio today, the Damar Hamlin situation weighing heavily on everybody's minds. But with that being said, I think that the best thing that we can do in the meantime is we await more information and obviously keep the young man in our thoughts. We can go ahead and do this show. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com, your dream address without the stress is what they will provide you. The Ashton team will put you in a position to succeed with the intel edge that only they can provide. Superbook Sports. Get in on the action with Superbook Sports. The app, clean and easy to use. Download it today, and they'll match your first bet up to $1,000. TrueMav Fitness, a new way to work out, a better way to work out for you to achieve your New Year's resolutions of getting in better shape. TrueMavFitness.com is where you go. Frank, by the way, is on the desk and decided that she wants to get in on the TrueMav Fitness program as well. So we will see if the Cats can avoid completely disrupting the show tonight. In the meantime, Two Rivers Ford, your customer service will never be disrupted. They always go above and beyond to make sure that you enjoy the car buying experience. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So as we all continue to keep the circumstances in our mind, right now, the Bengals and the Bills are not rescheduled, but every other game in the NFL is going to move forward as previously planned for Week 18, which includes, obviously, the Titans and the Jags. So now we are in a circumstance where the Titans have made a decision on their starting quarterback, and we will discuss the idea of what gives them the best opportunity to succeed. To succeed would mean a third straight divisional title. To succeed would mean a home playoff game. To succeed would mean that for all of the terrible things that this football team has been doing as of late, that they were somehow able to find something in their most down bad moments and come away with a productive end to a season, no matter how it ultimately ends up petering out. Now, if they drop 7 straight, if they go 7-9 after starting 7-3, then we have to have a much more serious conversation. To go to extremes on it is not what anybody should do, but obviously they are at a critical point in this franchise's in this era of the franchise. And for them to be able to at least stave off some of the questions that are going to be thrown their way this offseason, and there will be many, they have to go to Jacksonville and win. MB, always the optimist, says to succeed would mean they are one and done in the playoffs. I would consider that a success. It means they made the playoffs. This team they are in a horrible situation. And while you may consider it a situation of their own making, I think a lot of these deals have really come to a head in the last couple of weeks in a way that is beyond their control. The Tennessee Titans and the rate of injury, and we will have offseason discussions, I am certain, about. Oh, excuse me, the Titans are 7-9. If they go 7-10, thank you for the correction, Jonathan Ertl. If they do what I think most people expect them to do, which is to go to Jacksonville and lose, then we can have a lot more of a come to Jesus type moment. No one's overlooking y'all, says Brandon. We're just clowning you because you lost like 7 straight. Well, listen, it bears no. Brandon appears to be. I think that's a Jags profile pick. But listen, Jacksonville deserves all the credit in the world. They're cooking right now. In fact, if Jacksonville were to lose this game, it would be far more disappointing than if the Titans were to go to Jacksonville and lose this game. Sorry, it's hot in my office. Not that I'm doing a striptease on camera here for you guys, but the set lights, for whatever reason, cooking me tonight. But I would say it would be a far more disappointing result for Jacksonville to lose this game than it would be for the Titans. There would be far more criticisms of the Jags than there would be of Tennessee. So yeah, the Titans deserve to be clowned. But if you lose to the team that's currently dropped 6 straight, what does that say about you? The Jags cannot overlook this, and obviously neither can the Titans. So we'll talk about this throughout the course of tonight's show, and I think the position would be to start with your Two Rivers Ford take, as is the custom. Better, worse, or about the same? The Titans' chances of beating the Jaguars with Josh Dobbs at quarterback. We will discuss at length together. The Two Rivers Ford take is, as always, made possible by Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford is the place that you go for the best car buying experience humanly possible. Two Rivers Ford always goes above and beyond to make sure that the car buying process is fast, easy, and fun. 2023 models, they're in stock right now at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, and they will make sure that you get exactly what it is that you're looking for out of your next quality American-made Ford vehicle. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So, Royale Wright says, shout out to you, Buck. You were great last night. Now, listen, you guys are great when you let me kind of manage those situations as best we can. And you guys were rock stars last night for kind of bearing with me as we tried to navigate a difficult situation under most circumstances. And obviously, to try and move forward now, it is the thing that I think a lot of people will continue to linger in a lot of people's minds. Ed the Champ says, why make the playoffs take the draft pick? Yeah, because you've done so well drafting as of late, Ed. I mean, that's the dumbest argument. And Ed, by the way, Ed, don't take that as a personal attack. I'm saying the position, not you who has said the position, but that is one of the most perplexing positions by Titans fans in the world to me. Have you seen your draft classes of late? Like, you have no idea who your next general manager is going to be. You don't know if he's going to be good at his job. You don't know if he's going to be bad at his job. You don't know what it's going to look like. So the idea that you're comfortable with taking a gamble as opposed to a playoff game on a draft pick that you have no idea whether it's going to work out or not, that argument to me is nonsensical. To tank for the draft pick, tanking under any circumstances, I despise, unless you have a legitimate shot at a transcendent quarterback, right? Quarterback is the only circumstances where those conversations I think are legitimate. But this is not a team. If they lose out, they'll have a top 10 draft pick. A top 10 draft pick does not necessarily indicate that you would have the best possible quarterback out of all of this. The Titans need to make the playoffs if they are capable of making the playoffs. Whether they're capable of making the playoffs or not is an entirely new situation. I don't know. The next general manager, whomever it ends up being, is going to have a lot of difficult decisions to make. And as you look at the circumstances for the Titans, it goes so far beyond the draft situation that Tennessee will have. And I think as things stand right now, while it is important to continue to think about the future of this football team, that the Tennessee Titans need to go into this game and try and win a playoff game. They will. Whether they are capable of doing it or not is an entirely different question. But Josh Dobbs today was asked about, leadership and what it is to kind of come into a locker room the way that he has and try and take this thing to task. You're going to hear from Josh Dobbs momentarily, right after I remind you that Primetime is made possible by our friends at Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports, go download it today. Bet on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Saturday football coming up with the Titans and the Jaguars, the college basketball in full swing, the NHL getting ready to puck drop right now on ESPN, or rather drop the puck, as it were. Superbook Sports is where you go to get in on the action. Sign up for Superbook Sports today. Download the app, match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, as you listen to Josh Dobbs, I want you to keep in mind what is the circumstances that this man has just been thrust in, because I do believe he gives them a considerably better chance to win at Jacksonville. Whether they're capable or not, it's entirely up to them at this point.
How's that traction as a leader at the leadership position in such short order?
Just be yourself. Most of these guys have been in the NFL for a while, so they know authenticity when they see it. So you just be yourself, right? How you prepare, how you approach each day, each meeting, each walkthrough, each practice, and then when the ball's in hand, you have to go out and deliver. That's what everyone's looking for. That's what I'm looking for out of myself. That's what the coaches are looking for out of each player in here. So, you just do that, trusting your preparation, and just go play ball and let everything else fall with me.
How has that process been for you, just as far as going from a guy that didn't know half of their names to actually being a leader in this locker room?
It's been good. It's been fun. I've embraced it. I just take life one day at a time. So I think if you do that, you maximize each event in front of you, right? So maximize the walkthrough, then maximize the team meeting, then maximize the QB meeting, and just go from there. Then that's when you see the best results. So I just take things one day at a time, and I've embraced the role. I'm excited about it.
What's the challenge, though, preparing for something that you've never been a part of or experienced before?
Well, I've been on playoff teams, so I wouldn't say.
As a leader, though?
I mean, you're always the leader at the quarterback position, so I wouldn't say it's any different, right? Whether you're the starting quarterback or you're the two, there's just so much pressure, right? Because when you're the backup, now it's like, hey, you have to really emulate the offense that we're seeing perfectly, because we need to see as many good reps as we can before the game comes. So at the quarterback position, the pressure's already there, always there. It's always on your shoulder. You're always a leader. You're always viewed in the leadership role. So for me, I just be myself, take it one day at a time.
What did Mike tell you? And
Josh Dobbs gives this team the best possible chance to win. He is somebody who understands the responsibility of the role. It has come with a fair amount of experience as a player in the NFL, not a starting quarterback, but a player in the NFL. He is somebody who has so you remember last year when they were signing all the dude, obviously with the injuries, it's been 2 years of this. But when they signed Dontrell Hilliard, when they signed Deontay Foreman, when they signed Buster Skrine, and those three players were giving them legitimately competitive snaps, right? Those players mattered as they tried to clamor and climb back into the number one overall seed, which they ultimately did. And Mike Vrabel made a comment about, guys who have been, for example, in the case of those three that I just mentioned, unemployed in the league, who have had opportunities, who have seen those opportunities go away and then get renewed opportunities. They come in and they work with a different level of effort because they know what it is to have that slip away. Dobbs has been in the league since 2018, but he has not had the opportunity to be at the helm of this thing the way that, he was at one time at the University of Tennessee to take over. He gets it. I'm not saying that Malik doesn't. I'm not saying that Malik can't learn it. But there is a different kind of mentality and perspective that I think that comes into mind. I think that ultimately what Josh Dobbs gives them is a legitimate quarterback option, because Brandon asks, do you think Malik Willis is a starter in the NFL? Well, no, the Tennessee Titans have just told you he's not a starter in the NFL. He's not even a backup in the NFL. In fact, I think they would do well to consider better backup options in 2023 than Malik Willis as presently constructed, because they're trying to build the most competitive roster as humanly possible. So I'm not going to do Josh Dobbs as the savior tonight, but I do think that Josh Dobbs has the best chance to save them from what it is that they've kind of pulled themselves into at this juncture. A to Z Sports Primetime is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go to get your dream address without the stress. The intel edge you need to succeed can only be found with the Ashton Real Estate Group, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators and of A to Z Sports Primetime is GaryAshton.com. So get the intel edge you need to buy your home without any showings or staging. Sell your home without any showings or staging. The intel edge you need to find your next home in this red-hot Nashville real estate market. GaryAshton.com is where you go to start your journey today. So, as we evaluate the circumstance for the Tennessee Titans moving forward and kind of where they navigate from there, which Titans player are you most excited to have back for this weekend against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Obviously, they have had to use a bunch of different players. They sat a bunch of different players against the Cowboys on Thursday night. They have given those guys a fair amount of rest, and they have tried to put themselves in the best possible position to succeed at this point. Kevin Byard was asked about the energy of the locker room at this juncture and how guys are, he touched briefly on guys that they're getting back, but just generally the vibes that they have heading into week 18. And this is what KB had to say.
It's been 2019 since you guys played a road playoff game. This isn't necessarily defined as a playoff game, but that's kind of going to be the atmosphere, isn't it?
For sure. It should be an electric environment. It's a winner-go-home game for both teams, so both teams are going to play extremely hard. It's going to be played like a playoff game, so you want to play games like this. I mean, it's going to be Saturday night prime time. It's going to be an exciting atmosphere, so we're getting geared up and ready to go.
Looks like you guys can be getting some guys back, some bodies back there. Just how big is that for this type of a game?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Some guys that rested last week, they're a little bit healthier this week. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the roster situation and who's going to be up, who's not going to be up, but I just think just for myself, I'm just super excited about this opportunity that we have, and I feel like you could just feel it around the locker room. Guys are excited too. Especially for some of these young guys. This is a primetime game. It's a playoff game. So get your first taste of it this week, and, if you win, you keep on playing.
Duval might be a little different.
Speaking about the circumstances, the energy, the vibes on the field. The player that they should be most excited to get back, I think, at this point, is Jeffrey Simmons, because Jeff, I think, with Danico Autry, gives them the best chance to make this game hell for Jacksonville, right? The Titans can run an offense. We saw them run a better version of their offense than we have in the last 5 weeks on Thursday Night Football. What Derek requires basically to get things done is the threat of an actual passing game, which Josh Dobbs is able to provide. Now, how much they kind of capitulate to Derek being back on the field, where they had, without Derek, a season high in passing attempts, and the offense looked some critical mistakes, but the offense looked as good as it has in some time, really since Green Bay. You feel that, okay, they give themselves the opportunity. Now, how much of that changes when Derek goes back into the lineup? We have no way to kind of we won't know until we see it in real time. But I think that Jeff, the defensive line is what they need back the most. The defensive line is the thing that makes them the most special, that gives them the best opportunity to make life difficult on an opponent, and then you try and just bludgeon them on the offensive side of the football with Derek and Burks and Chig and everything else that they're trying to make work at this point. A to Z Sports Primetime is made possible by TrueMav Fitness. TrueMav Fitness is where you go to get your New Year's resolutions underway. TrueMav is the best way for you to work out. It is specifically tailored to make sure that you are maximizing your body's abilities without overexerting yourself. You're never going to feel uncomfortable when you are a part of one of their classes. Their classes are great. They are in the boot camp style. They are never recycled or repeated. They always go above and beyond to make sure that your needs are being met. TrueMav Fitness also offers personal training and an open gym. So sign up for any level of their memberships and try your first class free at TrueMavFitness.com. So, what's the biggest question the Titans have to answer this offseason? We're not there yet, but these things are looming, and it could come to a screeching end on Saturday night when we all travel down to Jacksonville. The biggest question, obviously, at this point is regarding the biggest questions, obviously, at this point are revolving around the roster. And I think that this roster has a lot of difficulties that the next general manager and in conjunction with the coaching staff are going to have to work through. Offensive line is something that comes up a great deal. And while I do think that obviously that has never been more important at this point, it pales in comparison to the quarterback position, as Jeff Roberts mentions, because the quarterback position, there's a lot of moving parts right now. And, how much more we're going to learn in Jacksonville, I don't think is applicable to even what this offseason what lies ahead in this offseason at this point.
There aren't enough jobs for the number of quarterbacks and or the number of agents of quarterbacks who believe that their guys are going to have a really good landing spot. Like, for instance, let's take Tennessee. What are the Titans going to do? The Titans have a lot of questions going into the offseason. A lot. They're not in great cap shape. Whoever goes there, if they do end up replacing Ryan Tannehill, my guess is they probably want to. But I also think that's going to be a financial decision. But so if you keep Ryan Tannehill and you're the Tennessee Titans, so don't you want to backstop him right now if you're Mike Vrabel with somebody better than Malik Willis? So those are the kind of questions that we just don't know now. Because, Mike, you raised the issue at the top. For Mike Vrabel to have bypassed Malik Willis to play in this game and perhaps to play next week, for a guy who's been on this team for 15 minutes, it says something resoundingly beyond today, and they can say whatever they want. I have no idea what they said last night or the other day about it, but they can say whatever they want. But the fact is, if you've got a quarterback who has been playing and who's been in the system all year, and you leapfrog somebody over him who, every team in the NFL had a chance to employ on the active roster and didn't, you then have to ask yourself the question, what is Malik Willis's role there for the future? So that's 1 out of 32. And obviously there aren't 32 places that have quarterback questions, but I bet you could think of a good 10 or 12 that have legitimate quarterback questions.
So that's Peter King of NBC Sports talking about the quarterback situation. And that is obviously the greatest question that the Titans have to answer this offseason. Tannehill is their best option moving forward. There's no question. Their best available option moving forward. There will be some interesting quarterback pieces on the board this offseason. And, the Titans should, as they always should, no matter how secure they feel in their roster construction, they should always be exploring the idea of better options. That's why teams employ pro scouting staffs, to continue to look for ways to upgrade the team, no matter what the circumstances are. Tannehill is the team should be thought of as the favorite to be the Titans quarterback in 2023. It's obviously not going to be Malik Willis. Malik Willis is he's nowhere close to ready. Nowhere close. And again, it's not his fault. He was never supposed to play this much to begin with. He was supposed to have more time to kind of incubate, for lack of a better term, as to what it is that an NFL quarterback needs to be, or even a backup at this stage. But as Peter King mentions, it's hugely telling that they benched Malik, that they rolled with Dobbs on Thursday night on 8 days' notice, and now that they're heading into Jacksonville in what amounts to a playoff game with that quarterback who just joined the team. So we will see how these things play out on Saturday night. Obviously, we'll have a couple more opportunities to talk about this on primetime. Radio show tomorrow, 10 a.m. We will have Mike Keith, the voice of the Titans, and we will get into this discussion with him as well. have a great rest of your evening. It's always a pleasure for me to spend time with you on Prime Time, and we look forward to getting back into the swing of things. An update quickly on Damar Hamlin, because we have not talked about it tonight. Obviously, last night, that's what took precedent. But I wanted to end the show with this, given, obviously he and his family are very much at the top of everybody's minds right now. Talk to you tomorrow on the radio show at 10 or tomorrow night on A to Z Sports Primetime.
Dorian, Uncle D, can you give us an update on how Damar's doing at this time?
So right now they got him on a ventilator, so they're trying to get him to breathe on his own. So we're just kind of taking it day by day. Still in the ICU. They have him sedated. So just continue to administer the medical treatment that they've been doing. I'm really, really thankful for the staff, the medical staff that's been working with him. They've been truly awesome and helping him with his recovery. It was a really, 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 truly scary scene to witness that yesterday. I mean, as everyone in the country probably can agree with. I would have felt the way I felt no matter who it was, but for it to be my nephew, man, it was especially more of a gut punch to see that. But I'm thankful that he's still here, he's still alive, and he's still fighting. And like I said, we're just taking it day by day, and continuing to let the medical staff do what they do.
Can you describe what the last 12 hours have been like for you and the family, seeing the injury and then now in the hospital?
Man, it's been heartbreaking. I haven't been asleep. I haven't been asleep yet. I've been up since about 24 hours now, and as soon as they canceled the game, we got on the road and we drove out from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. I mean, felt like we drove through a hurricane. There was so much rain coming down, but I mean, we weren't going to stop until we got here and be able to support my nephew, man, and just be by his side.
You mentioned the support. He's got over $4 million in his GoFundMe page. You've had players and coaches come out. What does it mean to see all these people supporting your nephew?
Man, it's tremendous to see all the love and support that my nephew has out here. And like I had told the guy earlier, a lot of people don't get a chance to see how loved they are while they're alive. So for him to have a situation where he could have been taken away and he has a chance to come back and see all that love that he got, it's truly an amazing thing. And I can't wait for him to see all the love and support that people have had for him, not just around the area, but around the country and the world. It's been amazing.
We can't wait to see that as well. And there's a lot of people out here waiting all day for updates, anything to see how he's doing. Can you provide us any type of vibe of how you and the family are feeling about his progression through the treatment?
Well, like I said, it's still kind of day by day. They still have him on a ventilator. So once he gets out of the ICU, I'll feel better myself, but